Hey, this is Eric Fuller. I got a new cool gimbal thing. I do not know how it works. But anyway, it's a nice quiet Friday at the shop, so I'm going to walk back here and grab an escalating box because I've had a lot of questions from people wanting to know exactly what's going on inside of this thing. Can I do it? Oh man, I did it. Cool. Quick little shop walkthrough. Going back to the area where we keep our inventory. Oh man, this thing's hard to control. Anyway, coming back here, gonna grab one of the escalating boxes and give you guys a good walkthrough. All right, I pulled an escalating box out of inventory. It's in this exciting orange bag. Let's open it up and see what we got. Got a mahogany panel here. That's all we have left, I think. And of course, it's got the quilted maple on the sides, which is just gorgeous. I don't care how often I work with this stuff. I'm always excited to use it again. I'm going to go through the solution step by step, so if you don't want to watch that, now's the time to get out of here. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and solve it, and then I'll give you guys a step by step of exactly what's going on with the mechanism. That's how you open it. Okay, so alongside the normal kind of sliding panel moves you're going to find in most boxes, this one also has 3 internal locks, one of which has visual cues, and the other 2 are blind that you kind of have to listen to them to solve it. The first one with these holes right here is a set of 2 pins, one going this direction and one going down. Those interact with each other in such a way that it can either lock the front panel or lock the top panel. So you have to navigate those first to kind of free up these 2 and figure out what's going on next. Once you understand the pin lock, then you're kind of facing a second lock on the bottom here. It's got a ball bearing rolling back and forth that you have to do the right thing with. And once you defeat that lock, you have another lock over here, which also has a sliding mechanism on the inside. It's not a bearing in this case. It's a piece of wood that's very particularly notched, and you have to get it in just the right position in order to drop this panel and get the lid off. So the first moves are pretty simple. You move the bottom here, and that releases this panel. In order to get the top panel moving, you have to line it up with a kind of hidden slot on the inside. And when you do that, now you see that the hole is matching up with the pin right there. Now we can start to work on this pin lock. The pin locks move by gravity, and they've got visual holes here so you can see what's going on. When the top pin is all the way down, it's locked in place by the front pin. So in order to release the top pin, you've got to tilt it that way, and then flip it upside down and tilt it back. And now what's happened is the top pin has moved up and the side pin has moved out of the way, and this panel is free to move. Okay, so now you've got this pin up and this panel moves freely, but it won't go down far enough for you to make any further progress. And the reason is because there's a ball bearing rolling around in there, which you can hear pretty easily. This is a kind of a tricky and interesting lock in my opinion. What it is there's a channel in here that the bearing is able to move in. And as long as the bearing is in that channel, this front panel won't move down. There's a place for the bearing to go as a slight cutout on the very end of this panel, but that cutout is blocked by a pin which drops. So if you move the box this way, the pin and the bearing fall down, and then if you move it back down, the pin and the bearing fall down, and the pin blocks the bearing from moving in. The solution to it is to tilt the box all the way this way, and then bring it barely level and tilt it over and down that way. And what that does is it allows the ball bearing to roll because it has less friction than the pin. So now the bearing is in the proper place, the pin isn't there to block it, and so when I tilt it in, I can now move this panel all the way down. Once this panel's down, I have to re-engage this lock mechanism again. So I'm going to move it this way to drop the locking pin out of the way and back. And now my main pin has fallen down and I can move the top over. And now we're on to the last lock over here. Finally, the top is free to move over, and the last end panel can slide up and down. Now, if I lift the panel up and listen, I can hear something clicking back and forth. That's the shuttle lock that's inside of here. And if you move it in one direction or the other direction and try to push this panel down, it's not going to work for you. It's still locked. In order to defeat it, what you have to do is tilt it towards you, move this panel all the way down. Now tilt it back the other direction and slowly lift the panel until you hear a slight little clunk. And what that is the shuttle moving over into a middle position, which has a cutout that now I can release that end panel and the top will come all the way off. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm having a good time, hopefully getting better at these videos. If you picked up one of the boxes, I appreciate it. If you haven't yet, we've still got a few left. Check it out. You might enjoy it. Cheers.
Hey.
Just me and the supervisor.